Welcome back, guys, to my Redstone server. Today is going to be part 2 of my tunnel boring machines. The first bit that we're going to cover today is the drills. There's 2 different drill designs that we need to make. We have 99% of them is the same, and then you have one that's different, which is the one that you can ride in. I suppose you could make all of them this rideable size, but there's really no reason to. And then on top of covering how to build the drill heads, I also want to go over how to make the docking station for the drills. So that is what we're going to try and go over, and I will give you guys a step-by-step tutorial on how to make this thing work. So why don't we go ahead and get started. To start off, we're just going to go with the basic drill design. So this is the one that will be used for every single machine except for the one that you would like to ride in. For that one, there will be a separate tutorial. It is very similar, but just a slight modification on part of the machine. So without further ado, the base machine is made out of 8 slime blocks, 3 sticky pistons, 3 observers, a redstone lamp, a note block, and a redstone block. So we'll go ahead and grab those into our inventory, and then let's go ahead and show you how to build this thing. So we're going to go ahead and get it set up. So we're going to start off, we're going to put 2 slime blocks attached to this obsidian, just like that. 3 slime blocks attached to that obsidian, I am sorry. We'll put a note block at the back of it, and the note block is actually what is going to trigger the entire flying machine. So facing out of that note block, we want to put our observer, or one of our observers, and then behind that we are going to place a sticky piston. So the starter of the back carriage will look exactly like this. 3 slime blocks on one side, and then note block, observer, sticky piston. To construct the front part of this, we are going to place 3 more slime blocks right in front of the sticky piston. So we'll go sticky piston, block, block, block. And then we are going to, at the farthest away from the sticky piston, so way out here on the end, we are going to place our redstone lamp, just like that. And the redstone lamp is important because it adds a little bit of delay in the system, which allows the flying machine to know exactly when it needs to start coming back home. So then we are going to have our observer face into the redstone lamp. It'll get a pulse when the redstone lamp turns on. And then we are going to place another sticky piston. So this is what the basic flying machine looks like. Starting from the top left, we have redstone lamp, observer, sticky piston, and then 3 slime blocks. Second row is 3 slime blocks, sticky piston, observer, note block. So then, at the very end of all of this, on the slime block next to the redstone lamp, we will place our sticky piston. That's our 3rd sticky piston, and then we are going to place 2 slime blocks horizontally. You want to make sure that the slime block is in line with the rest of the machine, so it is entirely too wide. That way it will dig itself a hole that it can go through. And then the last block that we have to place is just 1 more observer, so we're going to come down below and we want to place it with the redstone part going into this slime block. So in order to do that, you can see we want the redstone dot to go into this. So then we will go like that. And then that observer will both power the sticky piston and the redstone lamp. So when we clear those away, it'll kick, but that's fine. We can just reset that. And that is your basic flying machine. This thing will go down and then hit something, and then it will bounce back. And it will go for as long as it needs to until it hits something, and then it'll return automatically. To trigger it, all you need to do is... Oh, I'm sorry. There's one last bit that we need to add onto here, and that is our redstone block. The redstone block has no purpose for the flying machine at all, but it is what helps with the docking station later. So we can go ahead and we can boop our note block, and off it goes. And then as soon as it contacts this wall, it's going to turn around and pull those blocks back. So like I was saying, this is the drill template that you would use for almost every single one of the drill head. You would stagger it with 2 spaces in between and then offset by 2. So essentially what we're looking at doing, let me grab some blocks to show you, because this drill will pull out a head that looks exactly like this. So then if you want to make another one, you go directly over 2, and then you would build your next machine over here, because that would pull out a hole like that. And then you can see that starts to link up, and then when you go up 2, because now we want to pull out something like this. So you end up with drills that in a row are 2 apart, and then or vertically 2, like there's a gap row, and then offset by 2. So you end up with a pattern like this, and then the entire drill head can go through. To scale this up, you simply repeat this process. The maximum size that you can do is you can have this be 4 layers tall. Any more than that and the rest of the machine will break, because piston push limits are 12. So you can make this have 4 modules tall, but then you can scale it as wide as you want. So you could pull out a 12 high section that is 1,000 blocks long if you really wanted to, but you cannot pull out a 12 block wide section that is 1,000 blocks tall. So that is the basics of this flying machine and how to lay it out. Let's go ahead and show you how to make the other one, and you can see that it will line up. We'll just use these 2 slime blocks of where we want it to be. So then you'll get rid of all that. The materials you need for the writable, like the cockpit flying machine, you have 10 slime blocks, 3 sticky pistons, 3 observers, a redstone lamp, a note block, a redstone block, 2 glass blocks, and they do have to be glass. They can be any color, but they have to be glass. You need iron bars. You temporarily need a rail and a piston, and then you also need a minecart. So go ahead and throw all that into our inventory, and let's crack on and build this. So similar with the other one that we did, we are going to follow that same template. So we will go 3 slime blocks on our obsidian pillar, and then we will go note block facing out of the note block. As said, facing out of the note block will be the observer, and a sticky piston connected to that. And then let's go ahead and build that front part, which is also the exact same. So 3 slime blocks, a redstone lamp, the observer, and the sticky piston. Then we can place in our sticky piston attached to that. And we already had our drill head in place. So then let's go ahead and make the modifications that allow you to ride into this thing. So what we're going to do is on the back part of this, we were going to break this middle slime block. It may seem counterintuitive, but that's what we're going to do. And then underneath it, we want to place 3 slime blocks. So you end up with a sort of U shape. Inside of our U shape, we are going to place a rail, and you want to make sure that the rail is going the long way on the machine. You don't want to have it be crossed, because then there's a chance that the minecart might stick out of the block. So then we will go ahead and place our minecart onto our rail. And then we are going to break the rail. You may need to turn on hitboxes to make sure that you just hit the rail and not the minecart. But when you do, it'll settle down just like that. So then, the next step is we are going to take our iron bars and we are going to get a piston, a normal piston, and we're going to place our iron bars in front of it. So we will destroy this for a second so we have a clear model. So we have just a normal piston, 1 iron bar lined up right where the minecart goes, and then we will power piston, which will shove the iron bars in, which will hold the minecart in place and also act as a block barrier to stop lava from being able to hit you. So then to finish this up, all we need to do is we add in 2 glass panels right on top and our redstone block at the back, which again has no impact on the flying machine. That's just for the docking system. So you can actually see, you can just right click in and you are within the minecart. We can show that it will cover you from lava. So we grab ourselves a bucket of lava. We will place it, jump in, and then let's go ahead and show game mode. Let's jump this straight into survival. And you can see, even with the lava right on top of my head, it doesn't hit me at all. So you can just sit in here and you are safe as a cucumber. Because apparently cucumbers are pretty safe. So we'll go ahead and get out of that. And then, that is the design for both the bulk of the drill head and also the cockpit model. Next up, I am going to show you guys how to connect them and make a docking system that will trigger the rest of the device. Okay, so I went ahead and I created a mock-up 3 drill head for us. And what we're going to work on is we are going to do the back part. So the docking station that will then trigger the rest of the machine. So what you need to do, you need to put an immovable block behind the last slime block on the machine. So it could be a furnace, or like I have here, just a block of obsidian. You only need 1, and so the back of the system should look like this, where you have the Noteblock, a slime block, which is hitting into the obsidian, and then a redstone block, which is right above that. So the materials that you need, and the list, or the quantity, is going to be different for everybody's machine. It all depends on the scale of your machine that you're doing, but essentially what you need is you need 1 redstone torch, and then for every drill that you have, you need a repeater, a sticky piston, a building block, and then a scaffolding block that you can place redstone on. And then you also need a redstone dust. And then for the overall, you will need powered rail and observers. So we'll go ahead and put that into our inventory. And for the sake of demonstration and just to help keep everything straight, I am going to use this polished deep slate as my scaffolding block, and then the diamond block will actually be in the circuit. So what we want to do is we place a sticky piston sticking out of the redstone block. Nice and simple. And then you tack on a diamond block just like that. And you're done. No. That's not useful at all, is it? So then what we want to do is you build in these parallel lines underneath. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to wire all of these machines into series. So you have your redstone torch, and I start at the top and then snake my way down. And then coming from that, you will place a redstone dust and then a repeater going into the diamond block. And then that will power the diamond block, so when you place diamond or redstone dust on the other side, it will come out powered. And then when you get to the end of your row, you just want to be able to snake down, so it doesn't matter how you get down. And then you're just going to do the same thing. So we're going to connect this redstone dust down into there, so we'll just go ahead down the staircase into the repeater that goes into the diamond block, and then continue on. And now the purpose of this is so that the rest of the machine doesn't get sent if there is a single machine that is missing. So as the machine travels, there will be caves and there will be obstacles that will cause some of the machines to return early or later. They're all not going to return at the same time. So what this does is there will only be an output redstone if all of the machines are back. So say for instance this top machine is taking a little bit longer to get back. So the redstone block is not powering the piston. You can see it pulls the diamond block back, which then turns off the signal, which then means that the rest of the machine can't fire. But then the instant that it docks and that redstone block comes into contact with the sticky piston, you can see that it powers the rest of the system. So essentially that's all you need to do for the backing plate. Well, that is the receiving system for the backing plate. It's very simple. You're just wiring all of the machines into one long powered line. And now, in order to send the machine all at once, what we're going to do is we are going to build some observer towers that snake up. And what you want to do is you will have towers where the redstone butt is facing into the sky, and then you are going to have an observer that will fire into the Noteblock. And you're going to do this for each column of flying machine. Just like that, and then again we'll build our tower, and just like that. So if you wanted to stack, if you wanted to make this 4 modules high, you would just extend this up, and then same thing, just send it right on down. Then at the bottom here, what we're going to use as our trigger is we're actually going to use powered rail. The nice thing about powered rail is that when you power part of it, it will power all of it. All of it at the same time, I should say. So we'll clear this off real quick. Okay. So the launching mechanism is the machine will either turn on or turn off the powered rail. These observers will detect the change, which will then fire the Notebblocks and send the flying machines on their way. So essentially, you do that, and off goes your drill, and you can see we're already starting to make an interesting shaped little hole. So then, and you can see we have no redstone output, but the instant that they come back, it turns right back on. So there's two more bits that I want to cover on this section. And the second to last one is how to... Essentially, I want to cover how to set up the output signal so that it goes into the machine. And then I also want to set up the redstone dust that goes back into the machine that will cause it to loop. And then that is where we will call it for today. Again, I will be doing another video on all of this spaghetti, and then I will be doing another video on this machine. So it is a multiple part series, but the end goal is a tunnel boring machine that will automatically loop, and you can AFK and get ancient debris or diamonds or whatever pleases your heart. So the second to last step that we're going to cover today is going to be the output that connects the drill head to the rest of the system. And it's actually incredibly simple. All we need to do is we come to the very end of our series of redstone that snakes are on the back. You place a sticky piston, and then you place an observer that faces out from that. So the result of that is going to be when the machine is... so we'll say the machine disappears, or goes off mining, so the redstone power goes away. The sticky piston will then retract, which will pull the observer away. But then, the instant that the drill comes back, and the power goes through the entire series, it pushes, and you can see there's that brief flash. So let me do that again. There is that brief flash that turns, or that powers this redstone line. And that is that flash that is going to go ahead and send off the second part of the machine. So let's go ahead and cover the last mechanism that goes in this machine. Again, it is a very simple, and you don't have to use diamond blocks. I promise it'll work if you use any building block that can hold power. So do not use glass. That will not work, but a solid block will work perfectly. And essentially what we want to do is we put a sticky piston facing sideways and a diamond block that is attached to it, and a redstone torch with a repeater. So we have that. We will turn that off. Cool. And then we will put a redstone dust like that. So essentially you have a power source that will go in, and then when the piston extends, it will... Oh, it'd help if I use the right block. It will then power the entire system. And so that is how it loops back into the system. So there will be an input that comes into here from the third stage of the drill, the part that pushes it all up into TNT, so that when it docks, it will send this, and then that will update the drills and send them on their way. So that covers the entire setup and building of the first part of the drill. Again, you can scale this as wide as you would like it, but the only constraint is you can only build this 4 modules high. So you can only remove a 12 block high area. But you can make it as wide as you would like it, and then it would just be the same thing. You would just tile it over and set it up the exact same way. It also covers the output to the rest of the machine, and then it also covers when the signal returns into the system. And that will launch the flying machines again. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Like I said, we've got another couple parts of this series that we're going to go over. The next step is actually going to be the most complicated and the most tedious part to design, which is all of this spaghetti, which is the part that pulls all of the blocks off of the drill heads and makes it into one nice smooth plate. So I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me. Drop a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like it, or if you have better ideas or any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I appreciate hearing back from you guys, and I will catch you in the next part.